All right, so we've talked briefly about characters. We're going to talk about formatted prints and formatting them specifically for your application and how it differs. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. The first thing that we can do is show a demonstration of it. So when we do this sys out and we hit control space, we see that it automatically puts this print ln. Now, you notice that this doesn't run an error, right? If we actually run this code, it's going to just do nothing, right? So what did it actually happen here? It gave us a new line character. So the reason that this doesn't fail is because println is actually what it's really doing, or the easiest way to think about it is doing this. It's actually doing a printf with a uh, double quotes slash n double quotes. It may not be this exact syntax, but it's the equivalent of doing that, right? So if I run this again, I'm going to see the exact same thing. I'm going to see that it gave us that one space again. So what is printf? Printf is print formatted, whereas println is print a line followed by a new line, or return carriage and a new line. So how does that differ? Well, what's the difference there? Well, printf is going to allow you to do something where the name for it is a uh, format specifier. So, for example, if you, let's say you wanted to do a line that says the character you entered entered was. Now, what it's going to expect is, C, right? It's looking, because we entered a C for first character. Well, we didn't enter it, but we set it as character. I guess we can change that. Character you set was C. Now, if I wanted to, I could replace this with a %C. That percent symbol, that modifier, is our format specifier. So it's expecting C being a character. So the different ones that are there are %C, which is character, %S, which is string, %D, which is integer. I don't know why D is integer. I'm sure there's some good reason for it, but I don't have it for you. And then %F, which is floating point. I think, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then there's like different ones like %E, which is like scientific notation. And then you can also follow point /f with or %f with %.3f, which implies give me a certain I guess we'll space this out so it's easier to read. So give me a certain 3 digits following the decimal, right? So that will give you a floating point with 3 decimal places. So if I wanted to, I could also do %3e, which is going to give me, or I guess 4e, 3 digits following decimal in scientific notation. Struggled a little bit there. So percent, the character you said was %C. So what's going to happen? Sure, thank you. Whatever, just something like that. So I can explain this a little easier for you guys. What happens here is the compiler is going to read, all right, we're printing a formatted line, and the character you set was, it's going to read that, it's going to see this %, it's going to say, what follows this % It's C. So in that case, I want to then jump to the right side. If I run this right now, it's going to fail. I'll show you guys. Doesn't work. And it's because this was expecting something and it never got anything. So the way to provide it something is to say comma and then first char. It has to be a variable that we provided. We can actually also give it a character, but that's just bad practice. You would never want to have a specifier if you didn't have an actual character to provide it, or a string or a float or a digit or whatever. So this is going to give you first character. %D isn't digit, it's integer, but sorry, I misspoke. But if we run this again, we should see that it gives us C. So it replaced this %C with first character. Let's say we did a capital or a lowercase z, ran it again, the character you set was Z. So we don't have to actually change this anymore, which is what coding really is about. It's about making things more efficient. I didn't have to write this whole line again. I just changed this one character, and it actually modified within that line that specific character. So there is value to it. It's just a matter of understanding the difference between print, formatted, and not. So if we do another sys out, but we change this to F, and we say there was not a print specifier in this statement. And we run this. Notice now how you went, the character was Z, thank you, right? And it didn't even give me a space or a new line here. So why? Why did it do that? Well, if you think about it, this is the difference between sysprintf and println. Print formatted is going to want you to do this manually. If you want a space between this period and this, you're going to have to actually put physical spaces in here. And when you run that, you'll see the difference. It'll actually input those spaces. If you want a new line character, you have to give it a new line character, that /n, and you'll see that it actually puts it on the next line. But because we didn't put one here, the next printf statement that we have is actually going to be, or this println statement is actually going to be on that same line. See, it didn't actually move to the next line. We can put the spaces here. We can put the spaces here. It doesn't really matter. All you need to know is that printf doesn't actually do new lines. You have to do them manually. So just to show you, there you go. And if I wanted to, I could also put the new line character here, and it'll do the exact same thing as a println statement on the previous one. And the println statement then gives me the next line here as the new registration. So if I continue from here, it'll continue to do that same workaround. I didn't have to put a new line character here or here because these are both println statements, whereas these were both printf statements, meaning I needed the /n's there to actually get it to do what I wanted it to do. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.